Sex, the three-letter word that makes people blush and in some countries change the TV channels. True story. Whatever you think about it, sex has been around since a long time, and thank God for that, as it is essentially what made your existence possible. We think about it, we write books about it, we make songs about it, and in turn it makes babies for us. Basically makes the world go around. In fact, it is so important that Carl Pribram, a neuropsychologist in 1958, described it as one of the 4 basic human drives. Drives are basically what motivate us to accomplish any goal. Their function is to help us survive. What are the other 3? Well, according to Pribram, the 4 drives that are behind every thought, behavior and feeling are feeding, fighting, fleeing. And the 4th one, we already stated, sex. Since these drives are the basis for our physical and psychological health, one would assume that they are studied and discussed openly. But nah, as important as sex is for the whole of humanity, it still carries a social stigma with it and viewed as a taboo subject. Well, not in all spheres of life it's okay to use sex to sell deodorant, cold drinks, even cars. But when it comes to education, people about it is still a bad word. Hey, look, it's our duty to Mother Nature, and education never hurt anybody. So let's move on what really happens in your body and brain during and after sex. Chemicals and your brain are the last thing in your mind while you are having sex. But you are all they are thinking of. As you will see further down the video, they are involved much more than you may think. And though it is a different experience for everyone, and there is no general process, there are some biological functions that happens to most people before, during and after the act. How do we know? Well, because sex doesn't only interest us feeble-minded men and women concerned about understanding the act to essentially make the experience better. Science also has been studying it for at least the last 100 years. Even scientists hire people to have sex with heart monitors and other wires attached to them to measure the physiological changes in the body. They also use fMRI machines and PET scans to study neurons' activity in the brain during the act. The physical, neurological and emotional changes that body goes through while engaging in a sexual activity have together been named the sexual response cycle. The sexual response cycle typically has 4 phases: excitement, plateau, orgasm and resolution. Now let's talk about each and every phase one by one. Let's talk about the phase 1, excitement. Phase 1 typically starts when you catch the eye of someone you are attracted to, which in turn sends a rush of dopamine, the pleasure chemical, to the brain. It is the same chemical you get while eating your favorite food, receiving money, gambling, listening to your favorite song, basically anything that makes you happy. Norepinephrine is also released, which activates the sympathetic nervous system in the brain, because of which your heart starts pumping and blood pressure increases along with breathing and muscle tension. Blood flows to the genitals, resulting in their enlargement. This is the process of excitement of arousal. The first physiological symptoms of the body getting turned on. Phase 2 is plateau. This phase occurs during the act. Once you and your partner agree to have sex and the foreplay starts, the changes that happened in the previous phase continue to intensify. You may start to sweat as blood flow increases by an upsurge of nitric oxide in your body. This is the reason why nipples become more sensitive. Genitals also become extra sensitive, and for some people, muscle throughout the body may start to tense up because of changes in the cerebellum. Dopamine is joined by the epinephrine, the adrenaline hormone, and together they both continue to rise as you get closer to the 3rd phase, the orgasm. This is the climax of the sexual response cycle, and it is the shortest out of all 4 phases. It generally only lasts for a few seconds. Heart rate, breathing, blood pressure are at their peaks. Muscle contract and there is a forceful release of sexual tension. Dopamine levels are at their highest and there is a release of oxytocin in the brain. Phase 4 is resolution. After orgasm, the body starts to return its normal state and enlarged parts return to their original size. The body becomes tired but extremely relaxed. There is a general sense of well-being as your brain releases endorphins and oxytocin, enhancing intimacy and making you feel all lovey-dovey. Oxytocin also being linked to increase feeling of trust. Vasopressin, a chemical that promotes sleep and emotional connection, is also released in both men and women, but more significantly in men, which may explain the reason behind the age-old joke of men rolling over and snoozing right after sex. The neurochemical prolactin is also released and dopamine levels drop, which is why some people have feeling of sadness and depression after sex. The researchers have also been found that during sex, the cerebral cortex that is responsible for higher reasoning is shut off, and the limbic system, an older and less advanced region of the brain responsible for drives and emotional processing, takes over. While two specific areas seem to shut off specifically for women, one that involves social awareness and judgments, and one that involves self-awareness and self-inhibition. Well, now we know what they mean. They say, love is blind. Oh, and by the way, glamorized romantic things like loss of appetite, loss of sleep, and increase in energy are also just the result of high concentration of norepinephrine. Told you, they are more involved than you think. Sex is vital for us as a species, and so it makes sense that biology made it pleasurable and rewarding. But there is a numerous other benefit of sex too. Let's talk about them. It can reduce stress, anxiety, lower blood pressure, boost your mood, and even improve memory. Not just that, it can also lower the risk of cancer and heart attacks, as it helps to keep levels of hormones like estrogen and testosterone in check. It is the disbalance in these hormones that cause the heart diseases. How would you like to stronger immune system? Now it just sounds like I'm trying to sell sex as a product. But no, really. According to a study done by Wilkes University, people who were sexually active got sick less than the people who were not. And a 2014 study by the University of Maryland found that people who have sex can actually grow new brain cells, making a stronger connection in your brain, faster processing, and of course, increased memory. And if that was not enough, sex can keep you looking younger, live a longer life, as estrogen promotes younger looking skin. Forget anti-aging creams. That's the free estrogen right there. But wait, that is not to say that there is no dark side to sex and that it has not ruined any lives. So how much is too much? Like any other thing, sex can also become unhealthy and get in the way of your physical and mental well-being. Compulsively seeking sex, participating in risky encounters, having sex to avoid being depressed or lonely, all of these are signs of compulsive sexual behavior, and millions of people suffer from it worldwide. Though its status as a psychiatric disorder is still up for debate. Just like most drug addictions, sex addiction is also primarily driven by a constant search for dopamine, a constant search for lasting contentment in an orgasm that lasts for a second. Let's hold our horses for a minute. You are probably not having too much sex. Also, there is no set rules as to what constitutes a healthy number. I mean, how many drinks a night make you an alcoholic is the behavior that one has to look out for. The most important of them is loss of control. For example, if you find yourself watching porn at work, you probably have some control problem. Another is obsession. At a level where a person prioritizes sex above other important parts of life, like spending time with friends, work, or even day-to-day activities like paying bills, grocery shopping. Just like with drugs, a hypersexual person will in time keep taking their behavior to the next level, needing hotter pictures, hotter experiences, as satisfaction keeps decreasing and decreasing, and they keep hunting for that dopamine hit. In the end, it is only you who can evaluate yourself. Still, if you feel that your sexual impulses are out of control, it is the best to seek professional help. I mean, to do or not to do? That is not question for you here. The fact is, we don't know what is the exact healthy number. But what's the average? According to recent research, Americans in their 20s had sex an average of about 80 times per year, and those in their 60s about 20 times per year. So that comes to about 2 times a week for the younger crowd. But what about other countries? Are they behind or ahead of America? According to Durex Sexual Wellbeing Survey and Face of Global Sex Report, this surveyed 26,000 people across 26 countries. That countries that have the most sex per week are Greece, where 87% had sex at least once a week, followed by Brazil, 82%, Russia, 80%, China, 78%, Italy, 76%, and the US actually fails at number 25 on the list. But that is just a quantity. What about quality? According to Durex again, the most sexually satisfied country is Nigeria with a satisfaction rate of 67%, followed by Mexico 63% and India 61%, Poland 54% and Greece 51%. India 61%. I doubt about it, man. So who is having the least satisfying sex? That would be Japan. Who knew hentai and sex robots don't help in increasing satisfaction? Never nuke your country twice. Now let's look at few myths surrounding sex and how they hold up. Number 1. Sex can help lose weight. It is estimated that the 30 minutes of sex can burn up to 85 to 100 calories. To lose 1 kg of fat, you need to burn 7700 calories. That means you need to have sex at least 77 times to lose 1 kg of weight. Number 2. It can cause a heart attack. Reality is that physical exertion most people put in when having sex is similar to walking up 2 floors of stairs. The chances of having a heart attack while having sex is too low. Number 3. Men and women have different sexual peaks. You probably have heard someone say that the male sexual peak occurs in the late teens while a female sexual peak occurs in her mid-30s. The myth comes from Alfred Kinsey's data. Kinsey found that 18-year-old men and 35-year-old women were having the most frequent orgasm when asked to give anecdotal feedback, and that's it. Researchers since then have found numerous reasons why this is not true, or why there is no such thing as the sexual peak. Number 4. Sex can affect sports performance. This has been debated for many years, with coaches often telling their athletes to abstain from sex before big games. However, recent researchers are suggesting that sex has little to no impact on athlete performance. In fact, it could actually have a positive effect instead. Number 5. You can't get pregnant during your periods. While it is true that it is unlikely, but there is no guarantee. Although if you have a short menstrual cycle, the risk of you getting pregnant is higher. Also, sperm can stay alive in your body for up to 7 days. So if you aren't trying to conceive, using protection is a good idea. But having sex during your periods can actually offer a few advantages, including relief from cramps. It can even make your periods shorter. Okay, there is one fun fact. Female ferrets die if they don't have sex for a year. Same here, ferret. Same here. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any feedback, please let us know in the comment section below, and do not forget to share and subscribe. Blood flows to the genital resulting in Who knew? 2 times a week. Sabko subscribe. Subscribe bolo. Have sex, man.